This is 100% true story. All facts, non-fiction, all that. So I used to work at Target. I used to work the graveyard shift and shit. I gotta wake up at like 2 in the morning and shit. Catch the bus at like 3:30. So I wake up, I leave, I'm walking, it's like 5 blocks, 6 blocks from the bus stop. I walk, this is like every day I had to do this shit. I get to the bus stop, I miss the bus. I'm like, fuck, it's the only bus that comes, like, this is the only bus that comes, like, in the morning, like, to take me to my job.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, I don't wanna be late. I'm like, I gotta get an Uber. I don't got no fucking data on my phone. I'm like, fuck.
God damn.
Right. So I'm like, all right, my mother lived like 3 blocks up from the bus stop and shit. I'm like, all right, if I go around her house, I can get some Wi-Fi, like, just standing outside if she not home. Fucking coincidence, my mother also works overnight, and I don't know her schedule. So I don't know if she's home or not. I start walking, I see a nigga, he come out the house. I'm like, I'm across the street. So I cross the street. And then the nigga, he crossed the street. I'm walking and I'm like, I think this nigga following me. So I'm like, alright, if I hit this corner and this nigga hits the corner, cause the corner's to my mother's house. I'm like almost there and shit. I'm like, if I hit the corner, he hit the corner, this nigga following me. So I hit the corner. He hit the corner. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, all right, bet. Now I might have to kill this nigga. So like for real, like niggas might be laughing, but this is real. Like for real. This is in Baltimore, Maryland, but like just so y'all know, like this is in Baltimore, Maryland. Not saying that means anything, but like if you know, you know. I get to my mother's door. I'm thinking if he sees me get to my mother's door, he might be like, oh shit, he lives there or whatever. Like I'm not going to do anything or say anything. But before I get there, he like, hey yo, bro, you selling weed, bro? Or he said you got some grass, bro, or some shit. And I'm like, nah. And then I get to the door, I knock. Please let her be home. Of course she's fucking not. So I'm knocking on the door, I'm standing at the door, I'm like, maybe the nigga not gonna do nothing. He stands in front of the door. Like, I'm like at the door, like where the knob is. He goes on the other side of the door and like leans up on it like a nigga like at the bar. Like when he like put his arm on a bar like and lean over like, hey, how you doing? Like he like, yo, you with it? I'm like, with what? Like dead ass. I'm looking him in his eyes like, with what? He looked me up and down, he like, you want me suck your dick? I'm like, no, yo. And he like, huh? So he like, you want me suck your dick? I'm like, nah. He like, huh? I'm like, nah. Yeah, he threatened to suck my shit. And then I'm like, nah, yo. And then he leave. So I call my girl, and I'm like, yo, I might have to kill a nigga. I'm like, I really might have to kill a nigga tonight. And she like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened to you and all that shit. And I'm contemplating even going to work at this point. I'm like, yo, should I just go back home? Like, she telling me just come home. Like, and I'm like, yo, fuck it, I'm gonna just go to work. So I get the Uber, and the Uber like fucking 9 minutes. And I keep seeing the nigga, how the block was set up. You could still see shit from the other side of the block type shit. He kept walking around, so I'm like, yo, I really might have to cause him pain. More than pain. And it's not funny. But I ended up getting the Uber and I went to work.